Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about Hunter x Hunter, an iconic shonen anime series from 2011 which is still very popular among the masses. In this video, we'll be discussing the origins of Killua Zoldyck, the secondary protagonist of the story. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The backstory of Killua Zoldyck. Killua Zoldyck is the 12-year-old son of Silva Zoldyck and the heir to the Zoldyck family, an elite family of assassins known all over the world in Hunter x Hunter. Killua was one of 5 children in the Zoldyck family and showed a promising future owing to his assassin skills, which were second only to that of his elder brother, Illumi Zoldyck, among all the siblings. He's the best friend of Gon Freaks, another protagonist of the anime, and is seen accompanying him for most of the story. He was skilled in different assassination techniques from a very young age thanks to the training given to him by his dad and older brother. He had also started tailing his opponents at the age of 3, which is a risky technique that involves stalking an opponent without letting them feel your presence. He also achieved numerous other feats like mastering the game of darts and reaching the 200th floor of the Heavens Arena, a combat training building, when he was just 6 or 7. Killua, however, was different from the other members of his family because of his dislike for killing. He'd attempted to rebel against his family many times, injuring his mother and older brother, and running away from home to take the hunter exam for fun, where he met Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio for the first time. As for his appearance, he has white, spiky hair, blue eyes, and pale-looking skin. He's been referred to as the cat-eyed guy in the anime several times. His eyes also change shapes and get narrower or sharper depending upon his mood. He has a lean bulk owing to the rigorous training he went through during his childhood and gets more and more muscular as he trains with Gon towards the later arcs in the anime. He was also seen wearing a green skateboard during the Hunter exam arc and in several other instances throughout the anime. He prefers wearing baggy clothes, and we see him wear a long-sleeve blue turtleneck with a half-sleeve shirt over it for most of the anime. Later on, we see him in just a tank top when he's training with Gon, different from his usual baggy appearance. In the anime, Killua is shown as a cheerful, mischievous, and bold guy who's always looking to prank others. He can often be rude to others due to this attitude, unlike his best friend Gon, who is usually kind and polite. This was evident in the Greed Island arc when Killua called Biscuit Kruger an old hag without thinking twice when he got to know her real age. He is one of the wittiest characters in the anime and manages to accurately analyze risky situations, quickly find ways to get out of them. Despite being just a kid, he thinks and acts like an adult and also has the knowledge to back him up. In the initial phase of the story, he's pretty confident about his powers and abilities. However, after facing numerous tough opponents, he is humbled and stops bragging about them in the later parts of the anime. He's also perceived as shy, as he gets embarrassed whenever Gon openly calls him his best friend or compliments him about anything. Despite all these traits, he has a major flaw, which is being afraid of anyone stronger than him. He had been trained to be extremely careful and picky in battle, knowing when to fight and when to flee. However, it was later revealed that his fear came from a pin planted in his brain by his older brother Illumi, who was overprotective of him and wanted him to not die by fighting a stronger opponent. The pin was something that was hindering his ability to fight, causing confusion and fear when he went against anyone more powerful than him. However, in the Chimera Ant Arc, when he has to save Gon from the Chimera Ant Ramot, he figures out about the pin and manages to get it out of his head and defeat the ant with ease. The marvelous story arc of Killua Zoldyck. Hunter exam arc. Killua is one of the few rookies who makes it to the examination venue, the place where he first meets his future friends, Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio. When he learns that Gon is the same age as him, he decides to tag along with the group for the rest of the examination. When Gon asks him about his reasons for becoming a hunter, Killua reveals that he's just taking the exam as it was said to be very difficult. In the third phase of the exam, Killua goes up against Jonas the Dissector, a serial killer responsible for killing a whole lot of people. This is where we get to see Killua's assassination skills for the first time, as he plucks out Jonas's heart in an instant, crushing it and ending the battle in mere seconds. The final phase is when things start to heat up as we see Killua come face to face against Gidorakur, another powerful applicant. Gidorakur then removes his disguise and reveals himself to be Illumi Zoldyck, Killua's older brother. Killua is instantly gripped with fear when Illumi questions his motive to be a hunter, but breathes a sigh of relief when he gets to know Killua was only doing it for fun. He then asks Killua to go back home as he's not fit to be a hunter and tells him not to get involved with his friends. This causes Killua to murder Bodoro, an applicant, because of which he gets disqualified from the hunter exam as it's prohibited to kill an opponent during a fight. Meanwhile, Gon didn't know any of this since he was injured from a previous fight and resting. Killua leaves the hotel before Gon wakes up and heads to Kukuru Mountain. Zulic Family Arc. Back in his home, Killua lets his brother Miluki torture him for 3 weeks as a punishment for his earlier rebellion, but When Killua comes to learn that Gon and his friends have come for him and are awaiting him at the butler's quarters, he breaks free from the cuffs with ease and threatens Miluki. His grandfather Zeno arrives and tells him he's free to go, but his father would like to meet him first. Silva, his dad, then asks him to sit with him and have a father-son talk. He asks about Killua's adventures at the hunter exam, and after hearing all about it, he has Killua promise to never betray his friends no matter what. Killua then reunites with Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio, and orders Goto, his family butler, to not follow them anymore. Kurapika and Leorio then decide to go on their separate paths, and all three of them agree to meet again in 6 months in York New City. Killua and Gon head for the Heavens Arena, marking an ending to the Zoldyck Family Arc and a start to the Heavens Arena Arc. Chimera Ant Arc. We see Killua and Gon meet up with Kite, a former student of Gon's father, Ging, in Kakin. Killua and Gon match Kite's team to research an intercontinental species of ants called the Chimera Ants. The Chimera Ant Queen possesses a unique ability that allows her to eat different species and then give birth to Chimera Ants that have the properties of the species she ate. As Gon, Kite, and Killua move forward on their quest to spot the colony, Pitu, a Chimera Ant royal guard, takes them by surprise and severs Kite's arm. Seeing this, Gon becomes furious and charges at Pitu, unable to realize the huge difference they had in terms of raw power. Killua uses his quick wit and manages to knock Gon unconscious and flees from the scene with him. Kite fails to do so, as we later see Pitu with Kite's severed head on her lap. In this arc, when Gon is unable to use Nen for a few days due to the APR technique used on him by Knuckle, Killua decides to be his bodyguard until he gets his Nen abilities back. While following Gon in a forest, he senses the aura of a Chimera Ant and decides to confront it himself to protect Gon. It is at this instance that he finally senses there's something inside his head and manages to take out the needle inserted by Illumi. With the needle gone, he loses the sense of fear that gripped him earlier, defeats the ant with ease, and rushes back to Gon. 13th Hunter Chairman Election Arc. As Chairman Netero sacrifices himself in his fight against Meruem, the Chimera Ant King, the seat of the chairman of the Hunter Association is vacant, and it's decided that an election is the best way to determine the new chairman. Meanwhile, Gon still remains in the ICU after his fight with Pito, and even the best Nen exorcists of the association are unable to heal him. Killua decides to take matters into his own hands and gets back home to visit Aluka, his sister with otherworldly powers, who could grant him any wish he asked for. Going against Illumi, he manages to take her to the hospital where Gon is and heals him using her powers. This arc shows him leave his life of assassination behind, rescue his best friend, and save his sister from years of abuse at his family's hands. Most of all, it sees Killua finally stand up to Illumi, his own brother, who made him suffer all throughout the story with his constant manipulation. Essential gear and tools of Killua Zoldyck. Skateboard. In the first phase of the Hunter exam, we saw Killua using a skateboard to chase the examiner, which was the first task given to all candidates. Leorio objected to this, but Killua reminded him that the task was just to chase the examiner, with no mention of the means to be used. The skateboard is yellow in color with red wheels and a red arrow in the middle. YoYos. After he passed the Hunter exam, Killua got 2 YoYos made with a special alloy as a gift from his brother Miluki. The YoYos are an effective weapon as each of them weighs 50 kilograms and is extremely durable. We saw Killua experimenting with the YoYos when he was up against the bombers in Greed Island. He managed to overpower Sub, a member of the bombers, using his YoYos and captured him by tying him up with the YoYos and sending a high voltage electric shock through them, showing the potential the YoYos carried. Killua's abilities and powers explained. As a member of the extremely rich and influential Zoldyck family, Killua has vast amounts of wealth, and he can use them to get out of situations that require crazy money. We saw this in the Greed Island arc, where Killua's brother Miluki got into a bid fight with Mr. Batara to get an original copy of the Greed Island game, where he bid millions of dollars for it. Apart from this, Killua has been trained by his father and elder brother to become a very talented assassin, and is even recognized by his family to be the most powerful assassin to have been born in the Zoldyck family. Killua mostly fights barehanded, but can use any weapon to his advantage, and he currently possesses a pair of YoYos that are custom made. Preternatural perception. Killua is shown to be extremely perceptive in the anime, whether it's judging the enemy's strength or detecting their aura. He managed to detect Hisoka's bloodlust even when it was subtle, thanks to this ability of his. He could also tell Gon where he stood against Hisoka and himself in terms of combat ability in the Heavens Arena arc. He was also able to detect Melioron's presence in the Chimera Ant arc, even though Melioron had completely turned invisible and erased his presence. Immense speed and reflexes. Killua has amazing speed and reflexes, as evident in the incident where he managed to take out Jonas's heart without him noticing. When he retook the Hunter exam in the Greed Island arc, he managed to knock out a total of 1,488 applicants in just a few minutes, showcasing his incredible agility. In the Chimera Ant Arc, when he removed the needle placed inside his head and gained his full potential, he was able to sever Ramot's head without giving him a chance to react. Resistance to electricity. Killua has been trained to endure large amounts of electricity as a part of his assassin training program since a very young age. For this reason, he's able to withstand high voltage electrical currents without being knocked unconscious or going into shock. We see him showcase this ability in the Heaven's Arena arc, where he's zapped by an opponent's electric wires but manages to endure it without showing any signs of discomfort. This ability of his also enabled him to develop electricity-related Nen techniques, such as the Godspeed technique, in which he gets faster than sound with electric sparks flying all around his body. Immense poison resistance. Another advantage of his assassin training by his father and brother was the fact that he became resistant to a number of toxins and poisons. He first showcased this ability very early on in the anime when he was taking the Hunter exam for the first time and drank Tonpa's poison-laced drink without experiencing any side effects. Claws. Killua is able to adjust the anatomy of his hands where his fingernails turn into claws sharper than blades. He can use them to tear his enemies apart and also take out someone's heart in a flick without giving the enemy any time to react. He's able to use this ability on both hands simultaneously. Killua is also a master of stealth, hand-to-hand combat, and has other impressive skills like enhanced stamina, durability, and strength, making him one of the most powerful characters in the anime. Nen. Killua uses the Transmuter type Nen ability in combat with an affinity towards enhancement as well. His talent is said to be rare and astounding, found in only 1 out of 10 million people. He learns the basics of Nen under Master Wing and later honed his skills further under Biscuit Kruger. He's mastered all 4 basic Nen techniques, namely Ten, Ren, Zetsu, and Hatsu, and a few of the advanced techniques as well. What really makes Killua stand out from the rest is his ability to alter the properties of his aura to make it similar to electricity, known as Godspeed. This is the result of years of electrical endurance training, or torture, that he went through as a child. This can hurt and paralyze even stronger Nen users, although the effects don't last for long. The different electrical abilities Killua uses are Lightning Paw, the first electrical ability of Killua and also the most basic. He uses both of his palms to electrocute an opponent and push them back. Although it didn't have much of an effect the first time it was used, it managed to stun the opponent for a few seconds. Thunderbolt. To use this technique, Killua jumps high into the air and projects a bolt of lightning from his fingers, paralyzing the opponent for a few minutes and causing them intense pain. He mainly uses it to stun his opponents and get a few seconds to think of another attack. Whirlwind. This is an ability that lets him defend himself from an attack in a fraction of seconds. He was able to grab a dart the moment it punctured his skin using this ability. He also used this ability against Yuppie in the Chimera Ant Arc to disappear from his sight and strike him several times as if he were teleporting. Speed of Lightning. This is the second Godspeed ability, and it allows Killua to move at lightning-fast speeds. He uses this ability whenever he has to run from or chase someone, as seen in the Election Arc, where he had to run from his brother Illumi along with his sister Aluka in order to save Gon. Despite all the family pressure in the assassin history, Killua is a child at heart who loves candy and skateboards and things that any normal child would love. His journey from being a ruthless assassin to being a caring best friend and brother inspires many, with fans even considering him equally important to Gon in the anime. With that, today's video comes to an end. What did you think of Killua Zoldyck? What other Hunter x Hunter characters do you want to hear about next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, this is Wizard Wheezy signing off. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.